時間同人數都。
We formed a quorum and it's also the appointed time for the meeting. I declare the meeting open. We will now elect the chairman for the education panel for the 2015-16 session. May I draw members' attention to ROP 66.7.6. If a member is the chairman or deputy chairman of a relevant government advisory body, you cannot be chairman or vice chairman of the panel. And ROP 77.7 states that a member shall not be the chairman of or deputy chairman of more than one panel. Now, according to House Rules number 22 and Appendix 6 of the election procedures, may I invite nominations for the chairmanship. Mr. Tam Yu Chung nominates Mr. Lam Tai Fai. I thought he was nominating Mr. Tam Yu Chung. So, Mr. Tam Yu Chung, are you nominating yourself? No, I nominate Lam Tai Fai. So, you nominate me. Thank you very much. Any seconder, please? Mr. Stephen Ho seconds. I gladly accept the nomination. Yes, I'm rather nervous. I am worried that I might not get elected. Since I've accepted the nomination, then according to the election procedures, I defer to Mr. Yip Kin Yun, Deputy Chairman, to chair the election process.
請問有冇其他提名？如果冇提名嘅話咧，主席就
If there are no other nominations, then I declare Mr. Lam Tai Fai elected chairman of the panel.
咁邀請主席重新就話。
So, Chairman, please take the chairman's seat again.
好啦，現在係進。
All right, when I elect the deputy chairman for the education panel for the 2015-16 session, nominations, please. Dr. Nana Wong, I nominate Mr. Yip Kin Yun. Any seconder, please? Professor Kenneth Chen seconds. Mr. Yip Kim Yun, do you accept the nomination? I do, Chairman. Any other nominations, please? If not, then I declare Mr. Yip Kim Yun elected Deputy Chairman of the Education Panel. Congratulations to you, Mr. Yip.
好啦，跟住喺一個公平公正嘅選舉之後。
So, we have the chairman and deputy chairman are elected in entirely fair and open procedures. There was no previous negotiations. Oh, I didn't ask whether there was any objection. All right, the next item on the agenda is schedule of meetings for the 2015-16 session. Please refer to Appendix II. We use to meet on the second Monday of the month at 4:30. If there is no objection, we will continue with this arrangement. However, in February, the second Monday is the first day of the Lunar New Year. That's the 8th of February, a public holiday. I don't believe members would like to meet on that day. In order not to clash with that public holiday, I've discussed with Secretariat. I propose to reschedule the meeting or advance it by 1 week to the 1st of February. Still at 4:30. Do members agree? All right, no objection. Then thank you very much. What about the 14th of March? That is the date for the CPPC and also NPC meeting. So many of us will have to attend that. Same here. So Can we reschedule the meeting? I think that would happen to both council sittings and also panel meetings. Perhaps after this meeting, I can try to negotiate with the secretariat. We'll see whether we can accommodate as far as possible. Agenda for our next meeting. The next meeting is scheduled for the 9th of November at 4:30 to 6:30. The administration has proposed a tool for us. And that is to enhance career education, and second, the progress on the fourth IT strategic education strategy. The government has got two for us, and we want to propose two as well. So what do we want from our side on the 9th of November? Members, please give me your input, and then we can make a decision. Dr. An Jeng, to be followed by Mr. Wong Kwok Heng. A show of hands, please, if you have questions. Chairman, hang on, please. But you just called my name. All right, I'll read out the names here. An Jeng, Wong Kwok Heng, Helena Wong, Michael Tian, and Deputy Chairman have I left out any? Professor Kenneth Chen, and also Sid Ho. I think you would all like to comment on what the agenda should be. I want you to be concise, although I don't really want to set any time limit. The An Jeng, I think we should talk about life planning for students, because some schools have told me that they cannot find coaches that have received training in career life planning. So we would like to discuss how we can support the training of coaches for life planning. And our next meeting, we're going to discuss career education. It's an item from the administration. That's excellent, because we had a duty visit on career education this year. Before we compile our report and make recommendations, I hope the Education Bureau can give us some input as to what is their plan for the future and any proposed improvement measures. Mr. Wong Kwok Heng, thank you. Students are required to pay a deposit and also retaining fee under JUPAS. Yesterday there was an oral question in the council, but we didn't have enough time to have a thorough discussion. I hope that you can arrange with the Education Bureau, and a proper paper should be presented to us on this topic. That is the retaining fee, and also the requirement to pay the school fees or tuition fees for the first year. Of course, I am not asking this to be included in our agenda for the next meeting. All right, the Secretariat will have it put down. Dr. Hannah Wong, I'd like to follow up on the safety of potable water in schools, and also flood measures. Some schools' children have been found to have excessive lead in their blood. And what about kids that are over 8 years old living in public housing estates where the potable water is substandard in this regard? Can we have some response from the Education Bureau? And secondly, I think many universities are concerned about the universities ordinance. You talk about the Chancellor of universities. There are so many legislation. Which one are you referring to? Whether there is any need to amend the relevant ordinance so as to amend the provisions on the appointment of Chancellor for universities, and also like to have a meeting with the UGC and also the RGC to talk about their funding criteria for R&D. There should be a review because the funding cycle is 3 years. The criteria will have a major impact on the development of a university. Did the administration give you a reply? Yes, there was, but I'd like to have a public hearing to have comments from students and teachers, and also non-local research students, whether there should be full subvention by the government and whether there should be a separate tuition system. Well, the administration has replied to your query, and the Secretariat has put your item on our list of outstanding items for discussion. Next to Mr. Michael Tian. Chairman, I'd like to expedite the discussion of 2 items. That is the fine-tuning measures for the language of medium of instruction. And secondly, we should also review the TSA ASAP and also English standards and also teaching and learning of English. I think we should expedite the discussion of these items ASAP. And I'd like to ask whether we can have 3 items for each meeting instead of 4, because if we have only got half an hour allocated for each item, they can very easily just brush aside our queries. I've discussed with the Bureau, and it doesn't mind reducing the number of items to 3, or whether it should be 3 or 4, we can deal with it flexibly. And also this English standard of students is already on our outstanding list, because you have not noticed that. Yes, I know, I just wanted to be expedited. Can we have 3 items for the next meeting? Yeah, wait till all members have expressed their views. Next, Deputy Chairman, I agree with Mr. Michael Tian. I think we can adjust the number of items for each meeting. Of course, if there is an item particularly short, we can accommodate more. Sometimes we have funding proposals from the school, from the administration for school construction. Now, because we have a big membership, half an hour is not enough. And I've also got other suggestions. Education, or rather, universities related legislation. I want to convene a public hearing to deal with that ASAP. And also an inter-institutional complaints mechanism or appeals mechanism. And we've also got the question of TSA already on the outstanding list, and also the establishment of contract teachers. The establishment of teachers that will include both GMs and CMs. And also comprehensive policies or integrated policies for schools, the arrangements, and also subvention of schools and school buses, and lastly, special education needs in kindergarten children. Professor Kenneth Chen. We have quite a long outstanding list. The items have been there for quite a while. I hope that the chairman and the deputy chairman can work it out with the administration so that we can clear the backlog within this year ASAP. There are 2 items proposed by myself, and that is redevelopment of old school premises, substandard school premises. I've got a reply from the administration, but it contains precious nothing. So there must be something done to these school premises, either reprovisioning or redevelopment, otherwise the students suffer. And I think they found in all districts. And item 7, ESF. Well, I see the chairman of ESF, Mr. Bramshak here, and I think we should look at the tuition fees of ESF. It is a subject close to the heart of many middle-class parents. It has been 2 years since they have done a review on the supply and demand of ESF, or rather international school places. I think it's time we reviewed whether demand or supply is caught up with demand.
Sit ho. Thank you, Chairman. Some members have already mentioned the role and position of chancellors and also members of the court of universities. I won't be talking about this in detail, but we must follow up because a lot of teaching staff at tertiary institutes are very concerned about this. I hope we can accord it with the first priority in our list of outstanding items. Secondly, manpower for special education. There has always been serious shortage. And after the lead contaminated water incident, we have actually even a bigger demand. And we are reminded that manpower shortage is serious and people are waiting for 3-4 years for a place. I hope we can advance this item and whether we can outsource the service. Mrs. Regina Ip. The Deputy Chairman has already mentioned it. I have nothing to add. Mr. Liang Yu-chung, I think we should have fewer agenda items because for a period in the past we have not had enough time to speak and also ask questions. Number 2, DSE curriculum review. I'd like to know the progress and the overall direction. Every year students have to sit for this examination. I'd like to know how the curriculum will be reviewed and if there is any progress. Ms. Priscilla Leung, did you raise your hand? Chairman, I'd like to follow up on liberal studies at secondary schools. Mr. Leung Kwok Hong, Chairman, I know you are in a difficult position. You play soccer. We are already in the second half. 20 minutes into the second half and the other team has not appeared. This is what Leung Chun-ying is doing. We have a headache at every panel and we are in the 4th year. He is seriously in debt. He doesn't pay back the capital. He doesn't pay any interest. Well, you have said this in another panel, but I'm continuing another issue. I have new things to say. He is still taking out new loans. About university education, if he does not mess up with university education, this should not become the first item, meaning he is not repaying its debts and he is taking out new loans. What do you want to discuss? I think we should have a balloting of the items because Mr. Leung Chun-ying is making us dizzy. I think it's best to ballot the items because everybody is asking for his item or her item to be discussed first. I think this happens with the Euro matches as well. Okay, I won't do it this way. It's very easy to resolve the problem in my eyes. I have heard members saying that we should have fewer agenda items so there will be more time for members to speak. But I must tell you, we have only got 9 meetings. And you have mentioned so many items. More than 9, of course, and also there is the list of outstanding items and there will be those coming from the administration. So indeed, I'm in a quandary. If you want fewer items, then many more items would stay out of our meetings, and then if you want to have more items, we cannot have in-depth discussion. I will try to strike a balance. I will talk to the administration together with the Deputy Chairman and then discuss with you so that we can find the best way out. Mr. Michael Tian. Chairman, I think the best way out is to have longer meetings. Education is something of concern to everybody, and it is something that we have to work on a prolonged basis. We usually have meetings on Mondays, and we have it on the second Monday from 2:30 to 4:30, or actually from 4:30 to 6:30. Maybe we can advance the meeting to 3:30 or 4. Well, yes, that is a way to do it, but we will have to look at the availability of venues. We can record your view, that is to prolong the meetings. Mr. Ip, well, we can also consider how we tackle the items proposed by the administration. Usually there are 2 for each meeting. Sometimes the meetings are not urgent or of significance. I think even if they propose the items, the chairman can make his judgment, and some of the items do not have to be taken up. The deputy chairman, you can help me out with this. If you have no other comments, we can go into AOB, item 4 on the agenda. I'd like to report to you something, and that is about the subcommittee on implementing free kindergarten education. In the last legislative year, we set up the subcommittee to study the implementation of free kindergarten education, and it was chaired by Ms. Starry Lee. Before the recess, the House Committee has consented to the subcommittee being extended for 3 months, and that is until the 26th of January 2016, because the subcommittee needs more time to work. That is why it will be extended. I think members will not object. What is this? The clerk just told me that maybe this is of concern to members, and therefore the clerk will again invite members to join the subcommittee, and the subcommittee will decide whether it is necessary to elect a new chairman at its first meeting. The clerk will issue notice to members to see if members would like to join the subcommittee. If there is nothing under AOB, the meeting is adjourned here.